Hello, everybody. I am back. And instead of developing a trend strategy episode 5, I'm going to call this, probably going to title this one the 10,000 spin test of the squeeze attack strategy. Yes, I have indeed now named the strategy I've been working on with the help of ChatGPT. Uh, just asked it some questions to give me some good names. Um, Thought about calling it the nuts. For those of you that play poker, uh, having the nuts means, you've got the best possible hand in a given scenario. Thought about calling that, but it just doesn't roll off the tongue well when describing a strategy. So I went with the concept of a short squeeze uh, in the stock world and went with the squeeze attack. So that's what I'll be referring to it as from here on. Now, this is a continuation of the testing where I left off before. Uh, I did indeed find a faster way to test this, which is why in the last video I was at, I think, 750 spins. So I just continued from there. So I was about, if you can see my mouse, we were about right here on the last one. So now I've gotten a full 10,000 spins. And I've stopped there just because I've seen enough to be convinced. I don't need to spend the time to do another 40,000. Although I'm glad, now looking back at it, I'm glad that I had to do this testing by hand because along the way I found a couple of other, specifically two other improvements I could make, um, which turned out to be really good. So although it's cumbersome to do the testing this way, it actually helps me improve it. So I'm glad I did it that way. So as you can see, pretty incredible. This is again 10,000 spins. This, you are seeing the profit and loss, the equity curve based on my modified Paroli progression. And I'm calling it modified Paroli just because my understanding is the original Paroli is similar to the reverse martingale. So on wins, you double. On losses, you go back to 1 unit. But with the standard Paroli, you're only looking for 3 wins before you reset. With my modify, when I'm looking for 5 wins. So I'm looking for a 1 unit win, then 2 units, then 4, then 8, then 16. So I'm looking for 5 wins in a row to reset. So on the 5 straight wins is really where I'm making my money here. And as you can see, because of the design of the system to wait kind of for the squeeze, hence the name, you wait for the squeeze and then you hit it hard. It works out well. Now, remember ROMAD. So what ROMAD is, I explained it before, but I'll explain it again. It's basically, it's telling you that in this case the ROMAD for the modified Paroli is 5.71. So this is saying that you profited 5.71 times the max the bankroll that you needed to complete it. So what it's doing is, so to calculate the minimum bankroll, you're going to look at the maximum drawdown, which in this case is 171 units, plus your max bet. Because in order to make the next, if you were suffering this maximum drawdown, you still need the 16 units to make the next bet. So you have to add those up to get the minimum bankroll you would have needed. So in this case, I don't even need this. It's 187 units. So if I were to take 187 times 5.71, whoops, see, I get 1,067 units, which is uh, the max profit that we've hit. So that's what ROMAT is. Again, your profit is max profit was 5.71 times higher than the minimum balance you needed. So as you can tell, the bigger that number is, the better. It basically means you get more bang for your buck the higher that number is. So even though through the testing, this is the progression I like the best, you can see here this triple up actually has a ROMAT of 630, and this one has 629. I'll explain that one in a minute. But the triple up is the same thing except for we're tripling for 5 consecutive instead of doubling. So you can see here the max bet is 81 instead of 16. So although technically the ROMAD is better for the triple up, meaning it's more cost effective, more bang for your buck to play that, I think I'm gonna prefer to play this. Uh, I don't know, just because the variance is a little bit better. But I just wanted to point that out. So just to kind of illustrate the point of how awesome this of a result this is, I have never. This is hands down of all the roulette strategies I have tried to put together over the years. This is hands down the best one. I have never gotten this good of results over anywhere near 10,000 spins. Um, just to illustrate the point, I drew up a quick spreadsheet just playing follow the leader on the dozens. So again, I didn't test this. Excuse me. This test here is just playing the dozens. I didn't do playing both, just because it statistically speaking it should be the same result. So I just tested playing the dozens. So just to show you how good this is. This is a simple follow the leader, right? So if my strategy, my trend following strategy can't beat a simple follow the leader, then it's not worth anything, right? So this is 10,000 spins playing follow the leader with the same exact modified Paroli progression. And I'm going to flick through many 10,000 spin scenarios, and we're just going to see what it looks like. As you can see, the first one we're starting out with, terrible. Okay, terrible. I'm just going to flick through many of them. You'll see that not only are they all terrible, they look nothing like the results of the squeeze attack strategy. Another thing you can see as I continue to go through them is although there is some difference, right? Some of them are down, some of them end up being down 1,200 units. This one ends up only being down a little over 200. You can see that the trajectory is pretty much the same, right? Again, the end result might be a little different. Trajectory the same. So I think it's fair to assume the reason why I'm now comfortable with just sort of stopping this test at 10,000 spins, as I think 10,000 is enough, um, to assume that any other set of 10,000 is not going to, not likely to be exactly the same, but the trend should be relatively similar, if that makes sense. Hopefully, you see what I'm trying to show you here. You can see, again, a little bit different every time, but trend's the same over 10,000 spins. Just a flat bet, although you wouldn't want to flat bet this. Just the fact that the flat bet is still profitable after 10,000 spins is kind of insane to think about. As you can see, it's been a bit of a wild ride, but 10,000 spins and it's still 79 units in profit. Pretty wild. So that's pretty much it. I wanted to share that update with you, share the fact that I am done for the most part testing this in the lab, so to speak. I guess the next step would be putting it on the line with some live money testing and see how it does. But I want to ask you guys, what do you want to see at this point? What what it sounds interesting to you? What do you want to see that that would help me out in knowing how to go forward with this? So let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. What do you think? Have you ever seen anything this good? If you test strategies, because I know I've tested strategies for years. I never have. So anyway, I hope you liked it. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, give me a subscribe. And again, let me know what you want to see in the comments. Till next time.